Capricorn, a wave of energy is sweeping through you. Not from the outside, but from the very universe within you. The things you once believed in are gradually losing their hold. Old choices no longer offer the same sense of safety. Everything is in motion, even if on the surface things appear unchanged. It feels as though you're standing at the threshold of a new journey, but this time there's no familiar map to follow. And that's no coincidence. In astrology, transformations like this often happen when higher, energetic layers begin adjusting your frequency, pulling you out of your comfort zone and into a deeper version of yourself, where intuition replaces logic and your inner state becomes the map. The first key in this 90-day phase lies in the quiet yet powerful movement of Pluto, the planet of rebirth and transformation. For many Capricorns, Pluto is moving through the first house, self-identity, or the second house, personal values, bringing up questions that may seem old, but now echo louder than ever. Who am I without the mask society expects me to wear? Am I pursuing these things for myself or just out of habit? At the same time, Saturn, your ruling planet, is calling you back to your core lesson: truth, structure, and personal responsibility. But this time, it's not just testing your limits. It's laying the foundation for something new, something that must be rebuilt, not externally, but from deep within. Have you noticed you're being guided by something unusual? Maybe it's a recurring dream, a symbol that keeps appearing, or a strange inner pull to do something you can't explain. In intuitive astrology, this is how the universal guidance field interacts with you. Some mystics describe it as a connection to a federation of light or a force beyond rational comprehension, but the essence is the same. You're being guided by a higher frequency layer where there are no voices, only vibrations. Some Capricorns may start seeing the number 31 repeatedly, a cosmic code, awakening your inner compass. In astronumerology, this is a gateway signal, marking the rise of your intuition and readiness to leave the old dimension behind and step into a new reality. Your transformation isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about returning to something you forgot. Maybe for a long time you've lived by expectations, responsibilities, and what you should do. But Capricorn wasn't born just to fulfill duties. You were born to build something lasting, starting from within. If you've recently felt out of sync or caught yourself staring at life and thinking something just feels off, you're not imagining it. That's the sound of your old shell cracking open, making space for the light of your truest self to finally step forward. The next 3 months are not the time to rush or get things done. They are here so you can listen more closely, see more clearly, and reconnect with what feels real to you. You don't need to understand everything logically. You only need to be still enough to feel, and when you are, the universe will begin to send signals. And from that, the extraordinary begins. But then one question inevitably arises. How do I know if I'm on the right path? When every option ahead of you seems vague, how can Capricorn choose the path that truly belongs to them? And then you'll realize the hardest part isn't the lack of choices. It's having too many. Suddenly, the road ahead no longer looks like a single path. Instead, it's a wide open maze, filled with turns, opportunities, directions, all inviting you to step in. But step into what? And how do you know which one is truly yours? This is the signature energy of Neptune, especially when it's strongly activated in the spiritual axis of your natal chart, the 12th house, the 9th house, or when it squares your Capricorn sun. It doesn't make you lost. It simply invites you to re-examine your definition of what the right path even means. You may find yourself flooded with ideas. Start this, try that, move somewhere new, learn a different skill. There will be moments of pure excitement, followed by a quiet fog. Am I even going the right way? That is the energy of choice overload, and you need to remember, not everything that looks good is actually right for you. Among all these crossroads, what you need right now is not an immediate decision. What you need is to filter out the voice that belongs to you from the thousands echoing around you. The truth is, Capricorn always tends to analyze, weigh, and calculate. But during this phase, too many choices won't make you wiser. They may only rob you of the certainty you once had. And that's why astrology calls this stage a dark night of the inner compass. where you may find yourself spinning in all directions yet unsure of where you actually stand. Look to personal planets like Venus or Mars in your chart. If they're in tension with Neptune, you may feel confused about your values and actions. If they're aligned with Saturn, you may sense a deep need to rebuild your life's framework with clearer limits, more mindful curation. But no matter where you are in your personal astrology, the core message remains. Do not decide when your mind is noisy. Let silence bring you back to your essence. You'll begin to see, not every option is meant to be acted upon. Some appear just so you can say no, to remind you that the greatest power isn't in how many choices you have, but in knowing which ones not to take. The universe isn't rushing you. It's simply watching to see whether you are choosing what your soul actually wants. And this is also the moment when a hidden truth begins to surface. A quiet imbalance that's been inside you for a while. Maybe you've been so used to just keeping going that you haven't stopped to ask, where to and for what? That's when the universe gently places a mirror in front of you and invites you to take a look, not to find faults, but to realize something is overloaded. Something is out of balance. Maybe you've been pouring your energy into too many directions, or trying to hold on to things that no longer resonate just because they once made you feel safe. We'll go deeper into this in the next part, when the mirror starts to reflect what you haven't dared to face. And a phase of cleansing, sometimes uncomfortable but deeply necessary, will unfold. Not to make you into someone new, but to help you keep what's truly yours and let go bravely of everything else. But then there comes a moment when that mirror no longer just reflects your path. It begins to reveal parts of you that have been silent for far too long. You realize some choices don't confuse you because they're difficult, or because deep down they challenge old beliefs that no longer serve you. Things that once helped you stand tall now feel like the very weight slowing you down. This is the phase of inner reflection and emotional detox, a moment when the energy of Uranus, planet of awakening and liberation, begins to rise. Not loud, but unmistakably clear. It knocks on your door with a feeling, I can't keep enduring this anymore. Not because someone did something wrong, but because a deep part of you is finally asking to live truthfully. You might feel a sudden urge to let go of a loosening relationship, a project that once felt like a passion, or even a way of living you've held onto for years. This is not destruction, it's restructuring. Exactly in the way Saturn, your ruling planet, teaches. What isn't true, what isn't stable will naturally crack to make space for what is right. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to be brave enough to stand in front of the truth being revealed. Even if it makes you uncomfortable, vulnerable, or unsure of your strength. One of the clearest signs during this period is a sense of at work motivation opens a fresh can of worms. I no longer feel inspired by what once made me come alive. Or the opposite. I regret having ignored myself for too long. This isn't random. It's a natural reaction when your intuition rises, when you begin reconnecting with your true essence. No longer living through the version of yourself programmed by the outside world. This is also why you might feel tired, inexplicably sad, or withdrawn from social contact in recent weeks. It's not that you're low it's that you're decompressing old energetic layers, built from the past, from society, from expectations, to return to a more refined and authentic frequency. If you're feeling like nothing outside fits anymore, it's because your inner world is reshaping your life standards. And in astrology, this is when the Libra-Aries axis in your natal chart begins to speak. Libra asks, what keeps me balanced, beautiful, harmonious? Aries asks, what lets me live as my true self, even if it means walking away from comfort? During this phase, you may notice several things happening at once. A sudden truth is revealed from someone else or from within you. A relationship begins to reveal its true form. You'll clearly see who's still aligned and who's drifting. A must-choose moment arises. Either repeat the old loop or step out of it entirely. None of this is to challenge you. They're here to help you understand. If you truly want stability, you must return to your center by your own hands. No one else can do it for you. No one else can live your truth. And just when you finally look straight into what's cracking, The universe will begin to send you small signals of healing, not in magical bursts, but in everyday things. A strange, unexpected conversation, a sentence that catches your eye and makes you pause, a quiet moment that fills you with peace. So these are messages. You're on the right track. Keep letting go of what no longer feels like you. And then, just as you start creating space to regenerate, something interesting will happen. The world around you starts to feel louder, more chaotic than ever. Not because it's changed, but because you've become more sensitive to frequencies that no longer match your energy. In the next part, we'll explore this deeper. Why consuming too much external energy could be making you lose your sense of self, and how to protect the refined energetic field you've just begun to awaken. Just as you begin to clear your inner space, the outside world suddenly gets louder. Everything seems normal, but you feel uneasy. Information floods in. Your mind stretches thin, on the verge of snapping. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's real and what's just noise. This isn't random. In astrology, this often happens when the third ninth house axis is activated, where fast planets like Mercury, Venus, or Jupiter stir up communication, belief systems, and your inner compass. You feel overwhelmed, not just by news or gossip, but by emotions and even your sense of direction. It's not because you're fragile, it's because your sensitivity is expanding, and the world hasn't adjusted to this more refined version of you. Like a radio nearing the right frequency, every bit of static feels unbearable. And for Capricorn, who thrives on structure and logic, this can feel twice as frustrating. You want to understand, but everything feels like noise. You'll try to analyze, but your thoughts are too full. Right now, the universe isn't asking you to learn more. It's inviting you to pause. You shut off the noise. Astrology calls this an energetic cleanse, a digital, emotional detox. You need space for your intuition to rise, stillness so you can hear your own voice again. If you felt tired, unfocused, or restless with no clear cause, it might not be physical. It might be energetic overload. Now it's no longer about what to choose, but what to let go. You weren't born to absorb everything. You were born to filter, to fine-tune your own frequency. This is the perfect moment to activate your 12th house, the realm of healing through stillness. Disappear for a while, not to escape, but to return to your center. And when you do, even for just 15 minutes a day, you'll notice what matters will rise, what drains you will fall away. In this new frequency, you don't need to chase clarity. You just need to stop letting in what clouds your light. This is the quiet, powerful preparation for what's coming next. Reactivating your core energy so true stability can grow not from the outside, but from within. And it's when you finally stop absorbing the chaos around you that a familiar frequency begins to return, one you haven't heard in a long time. Not loud, not dramatic, just a soft whisper, like your own heart, once no longer drowned out. It's your core energy, the original light that was never distorted. And the moment you reconnect with it, something shifts. Not a sudden wake-up from a dream, but a quiet remembering of who you are and why you're here. In astrology, this is called a phase of soul reorientation. It often comes when slow planets like Saturn or Pluto complete a major cycle, or when you reach a turning point in your spiritual growth. For Capricorn, it rarely arrives as shock. Instead, it comes as a calm, steady truth. I don't need to run anymore. I'm already home. You may start feeling held by something unseen. You might call it the universe, or maybe nothing at all. But you'll know you're not alone. You may keep seeing a number, or wake up one day feeling lighter. These are not signs to look outward, but invitations to return to your inner center, and from that place you'll see life differently, not with fear or doubt, but with the eyes of someone who's walked through darkness and chosen to carry their own light. You may not change the world, but the way you exist within it, that changes everything. This 90-day journey doesn't offer all the answers, but it opens a door, not an escape, but a way inward, deeper, truer, steadier. And when you reach that place, you'll realize you don't need another transformation. You need a foundation, one that lasts. In the final chapter, you'll be guided there, where your inner light becomes your new home base. And from there, a lasting future quietly begins to grow. When everything inside you begins to quiet down, when the inner storm finally settles, you'll know it's time to begin again. Enough to search further, but to rebuild from the true center of who you are. In astrology, this is the rebalancing of your inner axis, a moment when Saturn, Capricorn's ruler, shifts from being a strict teacher to a steady foundation. You don't need all the answers. You just need to remember why you've chosen to stay and continue more aligned with what's true. The universe doesn't ask you to be exceptional, just to be yourself, grounded, deep, unshaken. That's why you may notice the number 114 appearing around you. 1, a beginning. 1 year. 4, a foundation, rebuilt from within. It's not mystical, it's a frequency reminding you everything lasting begins inside. And you're doing that step by step. You no longer need to prove anything. You've already found the most important thing, stability in your own energy. And when that happens, life naturally begins to shift around you. No pushing, no chasing, no force. Figure eight, just standing in your light and letting things come as they're meant to. This 90-day journey isn't a destination. It's a realignment, helping you live in tune with your true frequency. If you're still in it, keep going. If you feel the change, embrace it. And if you doubt, remember, this is not a race. This is your return home. You may not explain it to others, but in your eyes, your words, your choices, something real will begin to shine through. I've touched what's true. I won't live the old way anymore. Remember, Capricorn, you weren't born to carry the world. You were born to build something real from within. And now that your light is steady, don't hide it. Those meant to see it will. The rest will go their way. You don't need to hold on to anyone. Just hold on to yourself. And when you do, the real world, not the illusion, will finally reveal itself. That's your quiet reward, and you've reached it by being nothing but you. Thank you, Capricorn. The path is still unfolding, but this time, you are no longer lost. If you feel you've touched something deeper, leave a comment, maybe just the number 114, or a heartfelt wish. One sentence, written with truth, and be heard by the universe, and gently answered. If you'd like to continue awakening with others on this path, hit subscribe, and each time you return, you'll find the frequency that was always waiting for you.